hope to get out of
It would
these
have taken
conversations?
integrity.
Integrity from like David Weiss, or like what do you mean?
Yeah, flat Earth lost its integrity.
Right, but again, who made David Weiss and all of these people? Like, I understand they have like a lot of. Oh, I think maybe somebody's lagging. Dan, are you still?
I'm gonna cut out. I'm cutting out. I'm gonna cut out.
Okay.
You know what gets me is like I remember one time Jaron, can you hear me, Dan? I hope you can. Like Jaron came in one time and I was talking to him about law and he was like, no, what you don't understand is the economy's gonna collapse next week. And I tried to talk to him about birth certificates and how the money system and how space isn't going to go anywhere until the national debt is settled and all this stuff. And he was like, that's stupid, blah, 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 blah. The economy's going to collapse next week. And I was like, no, that's stupid because the economy isn't going to collapse. And it didn't collapse. But he thought my ideas didn't want to learn anything about them. So was he denying the truth? You know, by like, because should I have stopped coming online trying to explain, some legal shit, just because he didn't fucking want to hear it? It doesn't matter, man. You know, it doesn't make what I have talked about less true, to me.
Well, that's why I was kind of asking Dan, like, what is like, because I mean, there's no general consensus, like even above water, like it seems from like there's little groups of people everywhere, right? And no one seems to be wanting or willing to come together at this point. So that's just why I'm curious.
I was
like,
part of a
what?
group of people that physically went out to do things. Like physically went to do observations, experiments. I was part of a larger group that's dwindled to nothing of people that were seeking. They were looking to find out. They came, and this is the point. Our interest in flat Earth came from a void of interest in other things. In other words, we'd sort of given up on a lot of. In other words, there was room for it in our lives. So unfortunately, it fell into sort of a trap.
Well, no, all roads led to flat Earth. That's why flat Earth mattered.
Until it was looked at a little deeper, and the
By
things
who?
we were
By
seeing.
who? By who? I mean, I
Well,
still hold most of the same opinions I have held since 2016. Like straight up. Other than like I give the Globe a little more respect. That's it.
Okay, well, the we that's been going around for many years believed in things like a dome and an ice wall and a sun that had a clockwise circuit. We believed that. We wanted to believe that. We asserted that regardless.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think that, like, let's say do you think that light is malleable?
I'll say, of course.
Is it not more malleable than physical objects?
I don't know that, but okay, for sake of argument, let's go with that because it might be thinner. Okay, less dense.
Well, I'm just saying, like, the ideal.
You're correct. Due to density, you're correct.
Right, so it's easier to move a light across the ceiling. You know what I mean? Let's say across your wall with a laser pointer or something like that. Like that's easy to do. And like, you know what I mean? It doesn't take that much effort to do it. And like, I'm just saying, like, but to move a whole planet or a whole bunch of star systems that actually are individual lights on out there, to move all of that would be rather difficult too. So that's what it's only when you take on those points of light being, let's say, exact physical, like explosive suns in the galaxy, that's the only way that all falls apart is when you accept, like, because otherwise, like, Light is one of the more mysterious elements of creation. To base the shape of the earth based off of some lights in the sky is why, a lot of us questioned any of it in the first place. But I don't think a lot of us questioned it thinking that there had to be an ice wall, that there had to be you know what I mean? Like none of that needed to be true for the understanding about light being malleable to be true also. Do you know what I mean? So they're not reliant on each other. Like the mysteries of the southern hemisphere can be based off of the observations of lights in the sky doesn't nullify flat earth for me anyway.
So you can pretend that there
You know
was
what I
no
mean?
geography involved with their TFE trip. Go for it.
What do you mean no geography involved?
That there was a southern hemisphere. That there was a south. That there was south. That the sun behaved differently when you were there, and that if you continued to use all your mappings and stuff, everything matched up. There was no controversy. If you eliminated the sun, you still would have proven an Antarctic continent that isn't an ice ring as we've described it, regardless of the sun.
I mean, even like, right, but you're still dealing with these lights. And granted, it's like, and I'm not trying to cope because I think it's the celestial sphere is the only argument for the globe. So it's like, I gotta respect that. But I'm just trying to say that there is still a window of like, that might not necessarily be it. To me, anyway, there is. If that explains it for you, then so be it. But I'm just saying, with light being as intangible as it is, it doesn't necessitate a globe to me still.
All
I
right.
mean,
So if everything's held
globes are
together by frequency, we don't even know that this place is physical. So for me to live on flat Earth, it's probably not a physical place because physically it doesn't appear. It appears to have properties that flat Earth doesn't.
right, but
So
also on its face, the idea that someone is antipodal to you is ridiculous. I mean, for me, it is. Like that idea that like somebody's antipodal to me because of gravity is more ridiculous than the idea that lights in the sky could appear to present a globe Earth.
but why is it because of gravity? It could be because of shape. I don't even know why
What
you
about
include gravity.
I don't think I said gravity, did I?
You said because of gravity. Yeah.
No, no, no. Because of like geography, or forgive me, like because of the celestial sphere, it doesn't nullify, like because of the observation of the sun in the south, it doesn't nullify how ridiculous someone being antipodal is to me. That's what I said. I was talking about someone being antipodal. Like the idea that someone being antipodal to me makes the globe Earth seem more ridiculous than some deception of light. Do you know what I mean?
At some point, it seems demonstrable, right? Zoom in on the ship in the north, zoom in on the ship in the south. End of story. At some point, it's not going to be debatable. They're going to be able to stop faking it or show it.
No,
You know?
no, they won't. That's the problem. The reality of the globe consequences are incompatible with like physical observed reality. That's even why in science fiction movies they have to compartmentalize arrival and departure from a planet. They split it up in different scenes, and each scene is a different type of background because they can't actually show it transitioning from one into the other. Because then you would see that what you would recognize as physical reality is not the globe. They have to split it up.
I
Am I
don't know. I
right?
just think it's what's up, Arm?
But would you not agree with me on that? right? In the videography of space stuff, they have to split the scenes, they have to split the shots of arrival to a planet from the outer orbit, and it looks like a planet, then it's re-entering atmosphere. They don't show that in a first person regular shot like that. They split it up, because otherwise you'd see that that's not natural, that that's not real. Is my sound good?
Yeah, you make sense. It doesn't prove flat Earth, but it's there's
No,
a
but
whole
it
bunch of shit
does.
wrong with there's a whole bunch of shit wrong with space.
No, but it does prove the flat Earth because they can't fake reality using the globe. Because we
Yeah, but if
recognize
we
it not
start
to be
talking
real.
satellites, they start winning because they can prove the reaction and the in some cases physical proof of things on a different circuit than we think in terms of let's say balloons going around the flat Earth. It doesn't seem to match that. We don't seem to be able to create the satellite patterns on flat Earth.
All right, well, maybe it's not balloons or only partial. Maybe they're literally using the flat top to just send reflected signal beams very consistently. Maybe they're doing it that way.
I mean, I met a
They would
satellite
call it
guy, early
bouncing it
satellite.
off the atmosphere, right? That's what they call it.
I met a really nice guy. His name's Will Turk. He's an early satellite guy from the 50s and early 60s. And he liked me, but he wanted me to know I was kind of being silly. And that one of his first tasks as they went into orbit was to try and keep the fucking thing online so they could take pictures. Because every time they came around the Earth had processed and they were offline. And so he had to calculate the fuel and the trajectory to get back online. And that's when I realized that's why supposedly they have all these dead satellites, is because they run out of fuel to keep them in position. That's fucking lame.
Yeah, but that's only to the schematics that are handed to them. They basically playing a computer game with the design parameters. None of that actually has to be real.
He described it though. Back then, they had these modules for computer that weren't connected. They were like each calculation had its own big old, like the size of your audio stereo module that you slid in to a rack, and they had these 1/4-inch jacks that they plugged each calculation into the next calculation. So it didn't even have commands. It was like direct plugged in. And he described it and how proud he was that his calculations ended up working. So he was hard to deny him. It didn't seem like he was lying, you know?
Yeah, so
was
he
hard.
was tricked. He got invested.
He may have been, but it did not.
But that's what they do, right? I mean, that's why they make people build all this stuff on Earth for real. Engineers and all that.
Compartmentalized.
Yeah, they think it's real. They help build it. Then they get to see a bunch of CGI or some whatever footage. And so, like, wow, I built it and now it's real. Wow.
He
Yeah,
had
now they
forgotten.
invest-
He had forgotten certain speeds and altitudes, and he goes, "Dude," he goes, "back then it was classified, and by the time it was declassified, nobody cared." So he's never really been able to talk about it. He was like really enjoying talking
Yeah.
about it, you know, about trajectories and like he was part of making it happen early.
Yeah, it made him feel special.
Yeah, I hear you. Same with the astronauts, right?
But with astronauts is different because they cannot not be informed.
What if they're hypnotized?
Well, that would be one way to trick them. But I mean, they still notice. I mean, if they're going to be in the ISS on wires and all that shit, they're going to know. Like, you can't not be in on the fakery that you're creating. Like when you do that kind of trickery, you can't.
Yeah, but they say that, that was from a practice session. Of course, we have that when we're simulating and practicing. I mean, they always will be able to say that.
Yeah, so they know they're acting then. They might believe it could be real, but they will likely know that they've never actually done it.
Although, Dan, the ones that are on TV and getting interviewed by news reporters and shit, they gotta be on. You know what I'm saying? Because they're straight up telling them, like, yeah, it'd be tough for the astronauts to not be in on it. I just got back, but that's a tough one.
Well, they could, some of the lower tier ones, they could basically trick them by you're going to do practice runs, and then maybe the special the elect might become the actual astronauts, and that's who you get to see on TV. And then the rest of the astronauts that didn't get to go, they believe in it. But I mean, as soon as you're going to be elect, you're going to be in on the loop because now you're part of the control system. Like, you have to be.
I mean, dude, you could put someone in a craft above a flat Earth, and they might not ever fucking know. You know what I'm saying? Say they do, they got the ISS floating around up there. There's something up there. Jaren caught it. People catch what's it called when you catch it in front of the Dan, your stupid ringtone's going
But they
off.
can't be
What's
doing the
what's it
zero
called when they
G at
catch
that
hold
height.
on, man. Hold on. What's it called when they catch the ISS in front of the moon or the sun? Anyway,
Probably.
something's up there. I'm just saying
Hey,
they could
sure.
catch. What's up?
No, I'm sure of it. Like, there's some visual thing, but I mean, they're not in there, up there, and then they can sort of float around. I mean,
Even if that
that's
was
not
the
real.
case, though, even if that was the case and they really are in there and are really floating around, it still doesn't mean it's a globe. You could have that happen on flat Earth. I don't know how, but I don't see that being impossible.
But okay, but now you're suggesting that when you go up there, you start
Hold
to
on,
float.
Arwen. Hold on. Rob's mic's going nuts. Hold on.
Jeremy, it's a transit.
Okay.
Oh, it's a transit. Thanks. I'll unmute you.
Dude, you're right. Yeah, sorry, Jeremy. I switched mics and everything.
Your shit's still ridiculous. It's the transit. Yeah, when you catch something going in front of something else.
Yes, thank you.
Hold on. Now Lion's hot micing. All right, Lion. All right, we're good. We all set, guys? All right. I'm just saying, even with that all being said, if there is people up there and it's floating around and they're floating around and they look down and they can only see a part of it, like, it doesn't mean it's a globe. Like that may still be hidden from them. They could be telling them, yeah, it's a globe, but they're just seeing. I mean, all you see when you get high is like the disc. You know what I'm saying? The edge of the circle, the perimeter of the circle. So that's flat anyways. They're claiming on a globe. So if there's a limit to your vision, like they wouldn't even know. I don't even know how you would know. Like all you have to reference when you go up that high is the perimeter of the circle, the horizon. You know what I mean? So that's flat on the globe. It's flat for us. Like there's really no kind of differentiation. Yeah, it would be extremely hard for that to have the astronauts not know. Oh, maybe you could though. You could. It could be possible. You could get them into a thing, think they took off, and they linked up with an ISS, and now they're in the ISS. Maybe I don't know. Who knows what kind of technology they got?